سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. إن الله يعطي الدنيا لمن يحب ولمن لا يحب. Allah gives the dunya to those people that He loves, and also He gives dunya and luxury and wealth to the people He doesn't love. إن الله يعطي الدنيا لمن يحب ولمن لا يحب. Allah gives dunya and luxury and wealth and cars and mansion to the ones that He loves and the one He doesn't love. So the dunya is not the measure whether Allah loves you or not. ولكن لا يعطي الدين إلا لمن يحب. This is for sure. And He does not give religion and spiritualities and salat and siyam and the charity, the akhlaq and the moral character. He does not give it to except to the people He loves. If you see yourself that you love the salah, you love the deen, you love the Quran, know that Allah loves you. Know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants khair for you. من يريد الله به خيرا يفقهه في الدين ويعلمه التأويل. If Allah loves a person, Allah will make him understand and his religion and make it easy for him. Many people today, the measure whether the people are loved by Allah is the dunya, and that's not the measure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is incidents when you study the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you find that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one time, for example, look at this incidents. The Prophet Umar ibn Khattab came to visit the Prophet in his room, and he found the Prophet sleeping on the floor. You know the straw carpet, and he says فَأَتَّرَ الْحَصِيرُ عَلَى جَنْبِهِ. Then the straws and the carpet have make marks on the body of the Prophet. فَبَكَى Umar ibn Khattab. He cried, and he looked at this amazing human being that is loved by Allah, Khalilullah, sleeping on the floor, and the carpet has mark on his body. فَبَكَى. Silently, the Prophet ﷺ heard him. He woke up. He says, ما يبكيك يا عمر? Why are you crying يا عمر? قال يا رسول الله ملوك الفرس والروم تنام على الحرير وأنت يا صفوة رسول الله تنام على الحصير. The Romans, the kings of the Romans and the Persian, they sleep on silk. And you, the Safwat Allah, you are the most chosen human being on the sight of Allah. You sleep on the floor. فابتسم النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He smiled. He says, يا عمر ما بالك أن لهم الدنيا الفانية ولكم الآخرة الباقية. What a beautiful saying. He says, why are you crying? For them is this limited dunya, and it's gonna be vanished in no time. Where is Qarun? Where is Haman? Where is this kings and the Romans and all? They live what they live, but they're gone. But because they go without religion, without fearing Allah, they are on the hellfire. He says, وَلَكُمُ الْآخِرَةِ. For you belongs the akhirah, وَهِيَ بَاقِيَةٌ. And it will last forever. So do not choose what can vanish in no time in comparison to the akhirah, which is forever and forever. So the Prophet ﷺ said one beautiful hadith in Musnad al-Imam Ahmad. It's my favorite hadith when it comes to this incidents that explain to the Muslims what's going on. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, إِذَا رَأَيْتَ اللَّهَ. And he's saying, إِذَا رَأَيْتَ, it means all Muslims. If you see that Allah is giving the dunya and what to the person that he may, Allah doesn't love, عَلَى مَعَاصِي. إِذَا رَأَيْتَ اللَّهَ يُعْطِي الدُّنْيا لِلْعَبْدِ على معاصيه, while he's disobedient Allah, and Allah give him what he loves. فَاعْلَمْ, look at this, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ اسْتِدْرَاجٌ. Know that Allah is gradually taking him. Then the Prophet ﷺ recite a verse in the Quran. فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَبْوَابَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ حَتَّى إِذَا فَرِحُوا بِمَا أُوتُوا أَخَذْنَاهُمْ بَغْتَةً فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْلِسُونَ. He says, فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ. Allah, now here, the Prophet ﷺ said a hadith. If you see that Allah gives a person what he loves, while the person is upon the sin and ma'asi. And this is for us, the ulama, they say, إِيَّاكَ أَن تَغْتَرَّ بِنِعَمِ اللَّهِ. He says, be careful to be deluded and deception with the ni'am of Allah while you are upon disobedience of Allah. Because could be a punishment in the form of bounties. Allah is giving me wealth, money, everything. I don't pray. I don't fast. I'm cheating. I'm going with girls. I'm doing any haram. I'm drinking alcohol. And the next day I have a bank account. You get this, come up, up, up. This is a punishment itself. It has a name in the Quran, istidraj. Allah says in the Quran, there's a word in the Quran, سَنَسْتَدْرِجُهُمْ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. We will gradually take them slowly, from nowhere, from what they don't perceive. So the Prophet ﷺ said the hadith like this. He said, do not be deluded, do not be deceived by Allah giving someone the ni'mah, and you say, look at these people, look what they have. No, he said, be careful, that's a punishment. It's not a given. Allah, but if you are Muslim and you pray your prayers on time, and Allah giving you the wealth, this is ni'mah, this is a bounty for you. You see what I mean? It depends who you are. That's how you can describe the gift of Allah. It could be same thing, but it could be a punishment. So the Prophet ﷺ, he recited the hadith. He says, be careful, do not be deceived by the wealth given to such and such while the person is away from Allah. It's a istidraj, it's a gradually taken. And then he recites this ayah and he says, فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ. When the nations of before, today, after all the time, the ayah is going to stay until the day of judgment as a reminder. فَلَمَّا نَسُوا. When they forgot what they have been reminded with, the Quran, the Sunnah, the Hadith, they forgot everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, instead of like saying, we send the punishment against them, He didn't say like that. He says, we open the skies of everything. Can you believe the word of Allah? فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَبْوَابَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Look at the word. We give them everything. That's a punishment of Allah, the ulama they say. And then Allah says, فَلَمَّا فَرِحُوا بِمَا أُوتُوا. When they are in the middle of rejoicing from what they receive from Allah, أَخَذْنَاهُمْ بَغْتَةً. We took them in a sudden. He was sleeping, something fall upon him. That's died. That's the worst punishment. That's person Allah knows. Allah doesn't do this to anybody, by the way. He gives reminder, He gives warning, and people don't see it sometimes. When something happened to you, have an accident, why? This return to Allah, make istighfar, and see where my wealth is coming. Is it coming from haram? Is it coming from halal? And that's how you deal with Allah. Allah sent messages. He sent the message, you don't see it. The first time, the third time you don't see it, Allah gives you everything. Once He gives you everything, and then you enjoy and you think that Allah loves you. You see people, they say, look at me, look what I have. Allah loves me. No, that's a punishment. You miss in your prayer, you never recite the Quran, you don't pay your zakat, you don't dutiful with your parents, you don't do. That's actually one of the worst punishment ever. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from this. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله. Sorry about that.